Woman wears a $17 ring for 30 years, looks again and realizes she's a millionaire. 30 years ago, on a rainy afternoon in London, a woman wandered through a small flea market west of the city. She didn't have much money in her pocket, but she loved browsing through old treasures. Amid dusty jewelry boxes, faded porcelain figurines, and old books, her eye was drawn to a large ring. It lay inconspicuously among other pieces of jewelry, yet something about it fascinated her. The large, sparkling stone in the center looked almost magical, and although the ring seemed cheap at first glance, she couldn't look away. Without much thought, she asked the vendor for the price. $17, he said casually. The woman hesitated for a moment, but something inside her told her she had to take the ring home. It wasn't about its value, but the feeling it gave her, almost as if it were a good luck charm. She pulled out her last bit of cash, paid the amount, and slipped the ring onto her finger. From that day on, she wore it every single day. It matched everything, felt familiar, and she had grown so fond of it that she never took it off. Years passed, and the ring became a constant part of her life. She wore it to work, while shopping, at family gatherings. It was always there, as if it were a part of her. Over time, it became slightly scratched, and the stone seemed to lose some of its brilliance, but she paid no attention to it. To her, it was a pretty piece of jewelry that might not be worth anything but brought her joy. No one in her circle ever gave the ring a second glance, and she herself never questioned whether it could be more than just a flea market find. But what she didn't know, the inconspicuous ring on her finger was far more than just a charming accessory. For 30 years, she had unknowingly carried a fortune with her. It would take a chance encounter to change her life forever. Many years after purchasing the ring, the woman led a simple but happy life. By now, the ring had become an integral part of her daily routine, a piece of jewelry she hardly even noticed anymore. But one day, while shopping at the supermarket after work, everything changed. As she stood in the checkout line, absent-mindedly searching through her wallet, she noticed something unusual out of the corner of her eye. A man staring at her. Or rather, staring at her ring. His gaze was so intense that it made her uncomfortable. Instinctively, she pulled her hand back, but the man couldn't seem to take his eyes off the large stone. When it was finally her turn, she quickly paid and hurried out of the store. But before she could reach her car, she felt a presence behind her. The stranger was following her. Her heart began to race. What did he want from her? Turning around to confront him, she saw the man approach with a mixture of nervousness and fascination in his expression. "Excuse me," he said hesitantly, his voice tinged with excitement. "May I see your ring?" The woman frowned and instinctively withdrew her hand. "Why?" she asked, her tone wary. The man hesitated before replying. I know a thing or two about jewelry, and I believe this is no ordinary ring." His words froze her in place for a moment. Was this some kind of trick, a scam? She had no idea what to think. Without engaging further, she mumbled a quick apology and rushed to her car. But as she drove home, the encounter lingered in her mind. Why had the man reacted that way? What if he truly knew something about the ring? The thought stayed with her throughout the night, and eventually she made a decision. She had to finally find out the truth about her piece of jewelry. The next morning, the woman couldn't shake the thought of her encounter with the stranger. What if he was right? She had never really questioned the ring. It had always been just a pretty but seemingly worthless piece of jewelry to her. But now she wasn't so sure anymore. Determined to find answers, she searched for a jeweler specializing in antique jewelry. Eventually, she decided to take the ring to Sotheby's in London, one of the world's most prestigious auction houses. If anyone could provide her with certainty, it would be the experts there. Just a few days later, she received a call from Sotheby's, and the news made her blood run cold. The inconspicuous ring she had worn for 30 years, thinking it was just a cheap accessory, was actually an extremely valuable 26-carat white diamond from the 19th century. The jewelers explained that the stone had likely once belonged to a member of the royal family. Due to its antique cut, which lacked the brilliance of modern diamonds, it had simply been overlooked for decades. No one had recognized it as a genuine gemstone, not even she herself. The woman was in utter disbelief. For decades, she had unknowingly carried a small fortune on her hand. The experts advised her to put the ring up for auction, as its value could reach hundreds of thousands of dollars. Stunned, she gazed at the piece of jewelry, now resting in a velvet box. Could this unexpected twist really change her life forever? With a pounding heart, she made her next big decision. She would auction the ring. The auction at Sotheby's was an electrifying event, one that would change the woman's life forever. Numerous wealthy collectors and jewelers had gathered to bid on the extraordinary piece. The starting price was already in the hundreds of thousands of pounds, but the bidding war quickly turned into a sensation. With every new bid, the tension grew, until finally, the hammer fell. The ring sold for an astonishing £656,750, almost $850,000. The woman couldn't believe it. The piece of jewelry she had bought for just $17 at a flea market had turned out to be a priceless treasure. When she saw the money in her bank account, it dawned on her that her life had changed forever. For decades, she had led a modest life, always budgeting carefully, never allowing herself to dream too big. But now she could afford things she had never thought possible. She paid off debts, helped her family, and for the first time in her life, traveled to places she had only ever dreamed of. But more than anything, she realized that a single moment, one random decision 30 years ago, had completely altered her destiny. Despite her sudden wealth, she remained humble. She continued to live a simple life, but now she had the freedom of never having to worry again. The ring, which she had once seen as a lucky charm, had indeed brought her luck, just in a way she could never have imagined. As she sat in her favorite cafe, gazing out the window, she thought back to how it had all begun. Sometimes, the greatest treasures don't come in shiny packaging. They arrive as life's most unexpected surprises. Life often holds unexpected surprises for us, and sometimes, the most unassuming things turn out to be the most valuable. This story proves that one small detail from the past can change everything. Who knows? Maybe you own something that's worth far more than you think. Did this incredible story captivate you? If so, leave us a like and share this video with your friends. What has been your greatest lucky find? Tell us in the comments. We're excited to hear your stories. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another exciting and inspiring story. See you in the next video.